Like imagine you get up at 3 a.m. to like eat cereal or get a snack and you have to walk this long hallway. I'm staying in my room. At that point, I would probably get like a mini fridge to store little snacks or something. Me being a big pack. Hey guys, welcome back. Or welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be reading 2 scary stories while I do my makeup, of course. If that sounds interesting, if you like scary shit and you like makeup, then consider staying. Also, please don't judge, but I have 2 nails missing. I know, and they're press-on nails. Anyway. Where are my clips? They were in my bathroom. Guys, I ordered a microphone and I'm super excited. And I also ordered some things from TikTok shop. I don't know what would have happened with my things if TikTok really get banned. I just really didn't believe it. I was like, there's no way, like, TikTok getting banned, like, please. What? Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't think that the ban was gonna be real. And I was right. The name of the story we're gonna read today, it's called Ghost Dog, A Skeptic's Story. I just wanted to share this, maybe not so little, story about my childhood dog. I consider myself a skeptic, but I've always been obsessed with the unexplained. This is one of the few events in my life that I cannot explain. We got our first ever dog many years ago when I was still a kid living at home. She was a very friendly Cocker Spaniel. She would never let me out of her sight and followed me everywhere she could. All of our neighbors knew her very well because she would hang out at their houses with me until my mom shouted for us to come home for dinner. So it's a cute little doggy. I have a dog too. Her name is Sophia. I had an older dog, and whenever she died, I remember thinking, like, I'm gonna get so rich when I'm older and become a scientist so that whenever I can invent bringing animals back to life, I can bring her back. Fast forward a couple years, I was ready to head out on my own and find a job. This involved me moving to a different city and saying goodbye to my parents and my dog. I couldn't help but think how she would be looking for me and wondering why I wasn't coming home. But that's a part of life, and as hard as it was, I moved on. That's so sad. I'm taking my dog. He could have just taken her with him. It doesn't even say her name. Yeah, he doesn't even mention her name. That's kind of rude. Anyway, a few weeks later, I got the terrible news. She was gone. I didn't even really catch what happened. My mom was too emotional to explain, but I gathered that it was raining heavily and she got hit by a car. I hadn't been home since I left, and the thought of not seeing my dog when I come back was almost too much. That's so sad. Especially because, like, that's your companion and she watched you grow into an adult, you know? You could have taken her though. But it's okay, maybe the apartment was like no pets or something. Okay, so he says, but life goes on. A few weeks later, I found a place to rent and my parents came to help me move in. It ended up being a perfect bachelor pad. And me and the boys would go out drinking and crash at my place. On one of the very first nights, and with 4 of us passing out after some heavy partying, that's when it started. Se me va a secar mi makeup if I keep reading and not doing my makeup. The next morning, with a large puddle in the corner of my bedroom, immediately I'm upset because it looks like one of my friends had drunkenly peed in my room in the middle of the night. We're arguing about who did it. When I take a sniff to confirm, it is not pee, but it smells like wet dog. Ew. That's kind of gross. Plus, like, why did he smell it? Oh, wait, probably to confirm that it was pee. Because he just assumed that it was pee. But ew, the smell of wet dog. No offense, Sophia. Too hungover to really care, we all forgot about it soon enough. And then it happens again. This time, there's no one else around. In fact, I see the wet patch in the carpet after getting home from work. The only thing that makes sense is a leak somewhere. So I investigate as much as I could, but no luck finding the source. Well, wouldn't it just be like in the roof? Anyway, being young and irresponsible, I ignored it and hoped for the best. Honestly, that's me. Like, nothing. I don't have any like scary stories because I feel like when something scary happens to me, I kind of just move on and forget about it. Like, I think I'm just hard to get scared. I just don't care, you know? Like, oh, what was that? Whatever. Like, I never cared to investigate. Look, I did my eyebrows really thin, huh? No pasa nada. One final time, I decided during my first few weeks alone to fly back home to my parents for the weekend. Bag packed, ready for an early flight, I go to bed. When I wake up, there it is. This time the wet patch is under my packed bag, with the bag in the center. Weirdly, the bag itself is perfectly dry, but the carpet underneath is soaked. I double check the contents of my bag, everything looks fine. So I decide to ignore it again and head to the airport before I miss my flight. That's so weird. I'd be creeped out. I don't know. I blame it on the apartment. Okay. It says, then we pick up again in my hometown. Made it there with no issues, left my bag in my old room, and went on with the day. Finally, it's time for bed, and I go to unpack my bag and get ready for the night. All my clothes are soaking wet. The distinct smell of the wet dog again. The bag itself is still dry. I did check my clothes earlier. This makes no sense. Looking back, every other part of this story could be misremembering, misinterpreting, whatever you want to go with. But I'll never forget the wet clothes. That's true. Like, how do you explain wet clothes? And the bag is dry. What? That doesn't make sense at all. The fact that I had to throw everything into the washing machine that night and dig out some old kids' clothes to sleep in. I also let my parents know, and they also agreed with the wet dog smell. The next morning, I'm chatting to my mom about this, and naturally, we end up talking about the dog. I explain how this has been happening back at my new home for the past few weeks. And then she tells me her story. Her story? Apparently, they've also had strange occurrences. Our dog had a metal food bowl that stayed outside. When she ate out of it, you could always hear it scraping against the ground as she did. After past, they would be woken up in the middle of the night to the sounds of the bowl scraping on the ground. And after the first few nights, they figured it must have been stray cats, so they packed the bowl away. Only for the sounds to continue almost every night? That's scary. My makeup is turning out so good. After that strange weekend, everything stopped. No more wet patches around my apartment, no wet clothes or wet dog smell. Even the strange sounds at my parents' house stopped after that. It's been 12 years since then, and I have never experienced anything similar ever again. I've thought about this incident many times over the years, and I can't find a way to explain it without the paranormal. Well, yeah, poor dog. I didn't know dogs could roam. Sophia better be roaming me after she dies. I want her back. I'll be like, yeah, that's my ghost dog. I would still feed her. But there are some clues, I guess. The wet dog smell and the fact that she died in the rain. The fact that it didn't start immediately after she died, but a few weeks later. But I like to think she couldn't rest until she found me and brought me home. Aw, that's so cute. She wanted to say goodbye to him. It's almost like she hung around after she died, eating out of her bowl, trying to figure out where I was, until my parents came to help me move. Then she found me in this strange new place, and she was finally able to rest after she came back home with me in my suitcase, knowing I was safe. Oh, wow, that's so cute. Okay, so basically, fueron with the parents to his new place, y ella se quedó allí, and then they both went back home. That's so cute. She got the closure. I'm usually a skeptic, but my sister freaked me out with this one. A little context before the actual alleged ghost encounter. She says, I was very close with my grandmother. We spent many days together, especially in her later years. I went abroad for 6 months, and she died the week before I was scheduled to return home. Wow, so she hasn't seen her grandmother and then she died. Okay, now on to what happened. This is not my encounter, but my sister and her husband swear this happened. Upon returning to the country, I spent my first night back in my late grandmother's house. I got around 2 a.m. and the airport was closer to her place than mine. My sister, her husband, and her baby were in town for the funeral, staying at her place as well. Todos se quedaron at her house, the grandma. Wake and funeral had already taken place and the burial was held off so I could attend. I had been traveling for over 24 hours, so once I got home, I immediately went upstairs and crashed. The upstairs of my grandma's house has 2 rooms on either side of the staircase and 1 more straight ahead down the hall. My sister and her family were staying in the room to the left of the stairs. I was staying in the room straight down the hall. Damn, those really long hallways, even in schools, even worse in houses. Like imagine you get up at 3 a.m. to like eat cereal or get a snack and you have to walk this long hallway. I'm staying in my room. At that point, I would probably get like a mini fridge to store little snacks or something, me being a big pack. When I got up, my brother-in-law commented that I was up early. I asked him what he meant because I had not been out of the bathroom since I got back. He said that he heard somebody downstairs moving things around in the kitchen. My sister was in bed with him, so he assumed it was me. I brushed it off and didn't think much of it. The house is old and creaky. But then my sister chimed in and she said something weird also happened to her this morning. And whatever she was downstairs could be a ghost. I asked her what she meant by that. Yeah, ask her. As I didn't think she believed in ghosts either. She said she woke up early in the morning to feed the baby and also heard the noise, like someone walking. But it was out in the hallway. She also thought it was me, so she went out to go greet me since we hadn't seen each other. But instead she saw a shadowy light. Her words, I don't know what that even means, me. Moving down the hallway and into the room where I was sleeping. The door was closed, so I guess it just disappeared when it reached to the door. I'd have to ask her again. I got a little emotional and then she said it was probably our grandmother saying goodbye to you. That would still freak me out. I returned to my place, but my sister and her husband stayed in the house for a few more days. They say nothing else happened, no more noises, no more shadowy lights. I'm going to believe it for my own sanity. She came back to say goodnight to me. When my grandma died, I was kind of scared. And also, I heard that some people, when they die, you get like dreams about them. Like they come to you in your sleep, some way or another, but they come to you. So yeah, and a couple people did get like some dreams of her. Actually, I did too, but low-key they weren't like nice dreams. They were really scary. So those were the 2 stories, but I'm gonna low-key look for one so that I can finish my makeup. So the title got my attention, to be honest. It says, my husband of 20 years is cheating on me with our son's 18-year-old girlfriend. So she says, I'm going to use pseudonyms for anyone I reference in this post. So I, 41-year-old female, I am a stay-at-home mom. My husband, 48 years old, whom we'll call Paul, works in finance. We have been married for nearly 20 years. We have 2 kids whom we call Eric, our 18-year-old son, currently a senior in high school, and Mary, our 15-year-old daughter. They are both the lights of my life. My marriage with my husband has grown somewhat stale over the years for a myriad, I don't know how to pronounce that, of reasons. I'm guessing it's like a lot of things. Such as his work schedule and how I've aged poorly since we first met. Okay. Our son, Eric, has a girlfriend, 18-year-old female, whom he's been dating since they were freshmen in high school. Okay, so they've been dating for like 4 years. We'll call her Amy. Eric absolutely adores Amy. She's his first love, and she is someone I've always considered as family. This makes the whole situation emotionally excruciating for me. Last week, I saw my husband's phone screen and got a glimpse of a text thread between my husband and Amy, our son's girlfriend, and I read what looked like a message of her telling him that she misses, I don't even know if I want to say this, she misses giving him head. I froze in place. In complete disbelief, I spent most of the day convincing myself that I must have misread what I saw. However, I didn't misread it because over the last several days, I discovered a file on his computer filled with tons of BDSM porn. Wow. He clearly has an addiction. He also has saved photos of Amy from her Instagram on his computer. That's really creepy. Wow. Oh, and she did say that the marriage was like stale because she grew older. That's so scary. Although they weren't fully inappropriate, she was fully clothed. It was still the proof I needed to confirm that I wasn't going crazy. I also looked at his phone during opportune moments and saw more of their interactions. I wish I had never looked. Girl, what? She should have seen it sooner. I would also check the phone. I'm a phone checker, I'm sorry. But low-key, I don't like when people check my phone. I'm like kind of traumatized by my parents. It's because like my photos are kind of weird. Like I have photos from my family that shouldn't be seen. That sounds kind of terrible, but it's really just like my dad's crack or something. One time I had my ex who was looking through my photos and I'm like, no, don't go on there. Cause like there'll be like selfies that I don't want to send him or something. And then he looks at my phone and he's like, wait, is that your dad's crack? Well, that's why I told you not to look. But it's like true. But anyway, wait, let me get back to the story. They were filled with mean, horrible things said at my expense. With him constantly comparing me to her, he would call me fat and old, among other things, with Amy laughing. I've always had hunches or paranoid feelings that Paul has been cheating on me, but never in a million years could I fathom something like this. Last month, I found a thong in our bedroom that I know wasn't mine. I turned a blind eye to it, naive and acting like it was maybe our daughter's, even though that made zero sense. Not only is he cheating on me, but he's betraying our son. I'm completely devastated. I don't think words can adequately describe the dread, anger, and shock I feel right now. I'm totally overwhelmed on how to handle this because obviously action needs to be taken. I have no idea how to even broach this completely fucked up topic to him. I wouldn't wish this predicament on my worst enemy. I can't even believe I married this scumbag in the first place. Damn. She's so worried about her son too. And then my mind started to race, realizing specifically unusual behavior from him around the same time Amy turned 18. Oh, so she wasn't even 18 yet. Was he waiting for her to turn 18 before pursuing this affair? There's so many layers to all of this, and completely paralyzed with fear and dread about it all. None of it makes fucking sense. How did this happen? Am I that much of a stupid idiot that I let all this happen under my watch? No, cause no, it's not her. Anyway, how would you guys react if you like found messages, it's from someone you know, and like a thong that you don't own? How would you like react to that? I feel like I would definitely crash out, but in what way? I don't know. I feel like if I ever saw something like that, I would definitely like have to confirm it, send all the proof to my phone, confront both of them. Also, like, how are people's intuition? Like, I feel like you can smell a cheater from a mile away, or like something fishy going on between two people. I feel like it's definitely noticeable. She says, Eric adores Amy, and the thought of revealing this sickening truth to him terrifies me. The impact on his young heart and mind could be devastating. My heart aches for Eric. I haven't confronted my husband about this because I'm frankly scared of the domino effect. Domino effect of what? Like, you end it with him, you tell your son, yeah. Maybe fight her. I share my story not for sympathy, but in search of understanding and perhaps advice. Damn, that is sad. Let's see, what advice would I give her? Pack your bags. Or pack his bags. Oh, but she's a stay-at-home mom. Moving back to your parents, girl. Get a job. Let's see some of the comments. If she's freshly 18, isn't this illegal? There's no way they weren't doing anything illegal before she turned into an adult. Yeah, that's true. She should definitely take like photos for proof. And she can get him to jail. She says she's been 18 for 5 months now. He deletes his text every couple of weeks, it seems like. So I haven't been able to pinpoint when this whole thing started. I think she's handling it pretty well. She's like creeping up on him, and that's pretty smart. I'm surprised she didn't crash out. I'm 100% a crash out. This is really crazy. She really is in a terrible situation. She's definitely gonna need therapy after, and so is the son. What would you guys do? I hope you liked the 3 stories that I told, even though only 2 of them were scary. Thank you for watching. If you reached all the way towards the end, please subscribe and like the video, and let me know if you want to see more of this kind of content. I'm all into that scary shit.